Awesome. Thanks, Shelly. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us for our February Lunch and Learn featuring Intel with Josh Richmond. As always, I'm your host, Alyssa Unbterborn, just going to be kicking things off. For those who don't know me, I am your IDG or Client Solutions Sales Executive here at Ingram Micro. Again, just some few housekeeping topics and things that I want to go over before I pass it over to Josh. Now, don't forget, for joining us today, you should have received that $25 Grubhub loaded to your accounts for today only. So be sure to click the word apply on the home page, or when you go to check out, you'll be able to apply that credit there as well. Any questions or experiencing any issues, please reach out to one of us on the team today. Now, we still have our Yellowstone reseller contest. We are closing that up at the end of March, but it is not still too late to register because all of your sales for the IDG and ISG side backdate. So any growth and partners that qualify by enrolling, you'll still be entered to win our Yellowstone bucket list trip this year. And again, this ends in March, so we want to register now and all of those sales backdate. So if you have any questions about that, winning that amazing trip, please let us know and reach out to us today. Next, just some promotions and some updates with our stock. We still have our exclusive sale on the Lenovo ThinkVision monitors. That's over $200 of savings per unit, and we have plenty in stock today if you're looking for some displays. Next, we did a very large buy-in, so we are heavily stocked to help you guys finish out as our partners for the remainder of the Lenovo year. So please let us know if you see a lot of stock in there. We're getting very aggressive on price, and we're willing to work with you guys to meet your target price points. Finally, just make sure you register for our March 1st Partner Lunch and Learn. That's going to be with Lenovo Services and Software. The registration link will be dropped in the chat. And always, we have our February Tech Talk about all things hybrid cloud with Pratik Patel, and that's going to be on our Lenovo ISG side on February 21st. If it makes sense for your business and you want to learn more, you will also receive that $25 Grubhub, and we will drop the link in the chat as well. I finished up pretty quickly today, so thank you guys again for joining. I will now pass it over to Josh with Intel.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you for having me. Let me pull up my content here. And you had said 25 minutes? I'll keep an eye out. Just let me know if I'm going long. Well, hey, thank you all. My name is Josh Richmond. I am the America's sales manager for Team Lenovo. So I work for Intel, but am entirely focused on Lenovo in North America. And spend a lot of time working with the team in Raleigh and a lot of the folks out in the field, and then working with the Intel team that calls on Ingram and other sellers. So super appreciate what you guys do day in and day out. Know that it's the backbone of our sales motions for sure. My intent today, I'm expecting a lot of you are familiar with past roadmap presentations. We are always changing. The idea here is, I'm working on the premise that a lot of folks are apathetic. There's an apathy for buying new technology, and it's our job collectively, but certainly as a key ecosystem partner, to continue to build the innovation funnel, to continue to look for things that get someone off the couch, the proverbial couch, and have them refresh ahead of time. So a lot of what you're going to see from me is, with that sort of mindset. These are the things that we think really appeal to users' needs, and that, when someone says, "Oh, I'm okay, I think I've got what I need," in fact, they don't know the whole story. Okay, so with that, and then feel free to interrupt or raise your hand with questions. I'd be glad to answer, but I think it should be pretty straightforward in the beginning. So let me just start with, we are launching this spring our 13th generation core processor called codename Raptor Lake, but you will see it just as in the descriptor as a 13th gen. And there's some interesting technologies and enhancements that I want to walk you through, but at a very high level, what you see, and I'll explain a little bit on the next slide, we have the U, the P, the H, the HX series. Those are all for mobile. And then we have the S series that comes in a variety of TDP processor out wattage, and that's for all-in-one tower, and then for gaming and unclocked. All right, and this is what I mean. So if you see here, the U series, just to give you the decoder card on all of this stuff, is really for fanless. Up to 15 watts. It actually scales down to 9 watts, up to the OEM, what they want to do. And you can do a fanless design, and it's up to 10 cores. The P series, 28 watt, that's really the mainstream. This is where you see it's the perfect balance between performance and energy efficiency. H series, this we got very thin. It's an enthusiast market in a thin profile. And then when you go to pure enthusiasm or Halo enthusiast, that's really our HX when you get to 55 watt. And then you can see on the desktop the 35, 65, and 125 watt segments. All right, so pretty straightforward. Wow. I always love this chart. Interesting to see people's reaction. Don't worry about all the verbiage here. The key is, and I'm going to focus on this in the next slide, with 13th gen, it really started with our last Alder Lake, our 12th gen, but enhanced here is called our performance and efficiency processor. So you'll see this called out in all of our marketing material. You'll see it, when something's 24 cores, it's not all same cores. What you have instead are performance cores, which are equivalent to today's Core i5, Core i7, and then the efficiency cores, which are more akin to like a Pentium or an i3, depending on the heat and the system it goes in. Why do this? Well, very simply put, not all applications, not all usages require an 8-cylinder engine, if you will, right? So if I'm just monitoring emails that come in, if I am have background anti-theft, anti-virus protection, those don't really require a Core i5 or a Core i7. So instead, we have these efficient cores, which just act and offload any kind of nascent task that the performance core would use over to the efficiency core. And all of this is done at the OS level. We worked with Microsoft to build in something what we've termed Thread Director, and that's a really great way to think of it. The different threads that an application sends off, some are checking for email, some are opening up an Adobe Photoshop, library with multiple filters. Well, guess what? The Adobe Photoshop and the checking for email horsepower required is just a lot different. Thread Director and Windows 11 understand that and are constantly monitoring. So it's very useful. Why is it useful? Well, it's useful for allowing your performance cores to have a lot more horsepower. Also, energy efficiency. If I'm on my notebook and I'm unplugged and I'm just doing web streaming, I've downloaded something, it puts everything on the E cores and shuts down the P cores altogether, or something close to that. Allowing even extended battery life. So it's just smart computing. That makes sense. And then here's a better illustration. What I can tell you is, okay, so what this chart is pointing out is the performance cores come with enhanced L3 cache. The more cache you have, the closer it is to the actual engine, the better responsiveness and less latency. So that's good. What I would suggest is this is the beginning of what we call disaggregation. Tiled computing, you've probably heard that term. I wouldn't say this is fully fledged. Our next gen is probably going to be there. If someone's not on mute, you might want to be on mute. I hear it. Okay. But we're at the edge. We're really at the verge of a new era in computing. And I'm not, it's not hyperbole to say that. Our competitors and the industry itself is moving to a disaggregated tile compute type of paradigm. This is a very nascent start to it. It's a good one. And we will build on this. This only gets bigger and stronger in every successive generation. How am I doing? Any urgent questions? All right. I'm just a couple just to illustrate the point I've been making here. Now, if you marry the different thermal output TDP envelope CPUs or SoCs really against the different core count, you can see here that the U series has a total of 10 cores, and it would be more efficiency cores than performance cores. And as you go up, you get more performance cores, obviously, to enable more better responsiveness and capability, but also more electrical use. It would do less energy efficient, and probably require a bigger and bigger fan. This one illustrates the same on the desktop. Okay, so classic computing, classic architecture, just got better. As I said from the beginning, a lot of what we're looking to do is convince people that in fact the computer they do have may not in fact meet the needs that they think they do, or it's not as it could be better. So a lot of it is energy efficiency and obviously better performance. But as we go to, and I'm sure you're all familiar by now, a premium brand that we've introduced. We introduced it back in 2018 called Evo. And Evo is and does represent the ultimate premium PC for essentially mobile go-getters. But it encompasses, it's a vehicle, it's a vessel, it's a platform that is where we start our latest and greatest cutting edge technology as it relates to mobile users. So you can see here that in 2018 we kicked it off. In 19 we launched with a very sort of nascent marketing campaign. We started adding each successive and each increased generation adds more and more capabilities. And what you'll see is it starts on Evo and then cascades down to the rest of our lineup over time. So much like, I don't know, if you buy a BMW and it has, the 9 Series or 7 Series BMW, and it comes with some newfangled capability, about 3 years later, the entry BMW has that newfangled feature and benefit, right? Same with us. So we introduced new features and capabilities. A lot of it's longer battery life, quicker responsiveness, brighter output on the screen, things of that nature, which I would say is fine. And I think it's a brand promise. It's a platform brand promise that delivers. But it's a little bit, if you're familiar with Ultrabook, it was a project we started about 10, 11 years ago. That was really to say, hey, the phone and the tablet, you have these instant on, long battery life. Well, we're going to match the PC to that. Evo, I think on a lot of levels followed that script and sort of just added on it and created a benchmark. But as we go to the next generation, and this is what I'm really leading up to. Before I get there, do know a ton of work goes into Evo. So it's all we have ethnographers who go out and do focus groups, who sit with people, who learn from them, do hundreds or thousands of testings, putting new innovations in front of them, learning what people like and respond to, how much they will pay, things of that nature. And the end result here on the other side, when you look right in the middle there, user satisfaction, the Net Promoter Score for 2-in-1s, right? These are laptops with touch. It's higher than the MacBook, which is awesome. 11 points higher than the Air. When we get to the classic, non-touch notebook, the folks at Apple still have a pretty good, score, but we're climbing up there, right? These are Evo based laptops when judged, with consumers and commercial clients. Okay. So I've said this, that, aimed at the mobile go-getter. With 13th gen, so this is the latest Raptor Lake, codename Raptor Lake, 13th gen, launching this spring. This is kind of exciting because, as I said, it was virtually an extension of the Ultrabook playbook for years and years, and that's fine. And I think it I'm glad we're doing it, but it really is leading to where we're going from this gen on. And that is we're adding features that, I think are easily relatable to the consumer, almost expected. And when I say consumer, I mean client, so commercial channel and/or consumer. So here on the right-hand side or the left-hand side are the key experiences. So we've new is multi-device experience. I'm going to get to that because that's what I'm really referring to. We have had launching last year with our 12th gen was intelligent collaboration, meaning every Evo has noise canceling microphone and upscaling camera. So, hey, anyone do Teams, right? That's great. To have a noise canceling microphone and have a camera that upscales your often low quality 1080p. And then we add the responsiveness. Every gen we up the battery life hours, so that's good. The instant wake. I mean, a lot of these features, fast charge. This is what you expect of your phone, and why not expect it of your laptop? As we go over to 13th gen, as we said, we have a feature we call Unison, which I'll describe in some detail. We have a connectivity performance suite. So this is well, it's technical, but it's meant to be for end users to tweak their system. Do I like entertainment? Great, I'll make it brighter screen. Do I like, do I need long battery life? Great, I'll dim the screen. I'll dim this. So there's little dials, and of course you can do that in Windows. We just try and enhance it. The VCX camera testing, this is more for the OEMs themselves, but to say there's a benchmark of camera battery life and performance. So the camera will drain the battery quite a bit. So we put in and test all the cameras for the OEMs. So we always put the leading edge Wi-Fi, so 6E, Gig Plus, Thunderbolt 4, and then visual sensing is an option. That's sort of like if I'm in front of my notebook, it looks and opens it up. Windows has this built in. We build it some enhancements into Evo. All right, Unison. So what is Unison? Unison, simply put, is it marries your phone and your PC. Wow, Josh, kind of a letdown. I've been having that for years. Possibly, but here's the catch. This is iOS or Android, and that's its key feature in version 1. Maybe I'm overselling the iOS capability, meaning it's the Lenovo and Microsoft have Windows to Android phone capability. The iOS interaction is what stands out. In the US specifically, I think 40%, 50, maybe it's over 50% of all phones are iPhones. So it's no small matter that in order to have the PC and the phone connect, your two most essential devices, honestly. Think of things that you don't do without your phone and your PC. And these two now work together. In version 1, which is launching this spring, we are working on very basic capabilities. So phone calls for one. So you can answer your phone from your PC, or you can make a call from your PC over your phone. You can receive instant messages. So you're in a meeting, somebody texts you, and you don't want your boss seeing that you're responding to a text. Well, you can just now respond to a text that's actually on your phone, but through your PC. File and photo sharing is pretty common, and then notifications for common apps. Very basic stuff. I'm not saying this, breaks new ground entirely, but it is part of, one with the iOS capability that obviously is very unique to Evo. And then two, we are requiring it in Evo. We think all of these things in one way or another, even if it was just Windows and Android, was sort of a go to the store, download the app. But here it's built into the build. And I will make a note that there is an enterprise manageability feature, so that if you have security issues about employees, downloading or moving files, unsecured files, that is actually built into the module itself, the enterprise module of version of this. So why am I so excited? Why do we think, this is cool? Well, first of all, it's the beginning. If you can't tell, as I've described, we we're building a journey and a roadmap of this feature. We just think it's too it's two, as I said, essential devices that are constantly working together. You're always answering email on your phone or on your PC. You're doing so on and so forth. But we feel there's more that can be done. So I don't mean to get too far out over our skis. I mean, this is coming about a year from now. But version 2.0, we're going to make your phone a second screen or your tablet. So now you could just move your desktop out, your phone's right next to your PC. You can just move your desktop or a window over to your phone or vice versa. You could print using you could print from your phone through your PC to the printer. You could share extra, anything attached to your PC, so storage or, other devices. So a bunch of neat stuff coming there. And then when we get out even further in time, you're going to start to see some, I would say, unique and differentiated offerings. We've built an SDK, a software developer kit, that we've put out to the OEM community for them to, enhance it for their own platforms, to do things that make their product stand out. So if I add some of the capabilities here and some of the disaggregation, the tile computing, and the mixing and matching that we're going to do in the future, it's really exciting. I feel like 13th gen Raptor Lake is really just the barn doors have been kicked open and we're off and running. All right, a little time check. Perfect. Hopefully you guys all follow. Hopefully you feel the value of this thing. One of the nice things is, before I get onto the vPro, is, every gen, as we talk about why refresh, why, hey, why should I buy a new computer? My old one works fine. Well, some of the P-core and E-core capabilities, the energy efficiency, the optimized workflow, longer battery life, and now hopefully you can articulate the value prop of having your your Android or iPhone interact with your computer. And of course, if you're a Mac user, you're like, hey, I've been able to do that for years. And that's a true story. That's a true story. And now we're able to do it on the Windows side. All right, gang. I believe you've all are aware and do sell the vPro. vPro is, its core value props are manageability and security. It is, as you can see here on 13th gen, we've actually enhanced it to take advantage of the P-core and E-core disaggregated chips and different, so there's, better together stories there. We put in some memory encryption that I think, is really an enterprise feature that we're now bringing to the client commercial. But at the base of it is manageability and security. This is why vPro has been so popular for over 15 years. Starting with security, this is AI. This is a hardened silicon at the boot level or prior to boot level. It will not allow the system to boot up with errant or bad code, right? That's classic, malware or ransomware stuff. Is they get you just as you boot up your PC. Here, there's a lot of hardware secured checks and balances, along with, and I really like this, vPro ends up being a platform on which other ISVs, and you can see here on the right-hand side, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, BlackBerry, ConnectWise, so on and so forth, work with and build in optimizations for vPro so that the enterprise level security, no matter where it is in the ecosystem or in the environment, it simply works better than software enabled security. And then manageability. This is obviously the big selling point here. Not only can you help remote fix a PC, if the PC does not even start or boot, I should say. So it comes, even if it's down, actually powered down, there are ways that you can, do some kind of diagnostics where you can download, if it's connected through LAN, of course, but download some diagnostics. But say it doesn't boot, this is a great way to get it back up and running, file fix, remote wipe, remote secure, a ton of things that you do that you don't have to roll a truck or you have to mail in your PC into an IT tech center. vPro, I like this slide. We have it for, desktop and notebook, enterprise Windows, but then also it's also for Chrome OS. So a lot more and more often Chrome is coming into the environment and enterprise environment. And there are vPro Chromebooks. And then we have for small, medium business, a sort of dialed down version, a light version of vPro called vPro Essentials. And we have a sales pitch for each one of these segments that you see at the bottom: large enterprise, medium biz, so on and so forth. All right, I'm going to end here with a little walkthrough of our sort of yes, but Apple story. We're seeing a lot of questions. We're seeing a lot of, especially during the pandemic, where everyone's all of a sudden started working from home, and IT department said, well, geez, if you've got a Mac at home and you want to use that, go ahead. And so it's gotten a foothold, and good for them, but it's not the whole story. And so there's a lot more to the just put an Apple in the environment and it'll work fine. And so that's kind of the bullet points I'm going to walk through here in the last minute or two. So vPro, obviously, Apple doesn't even come close to the manageability or security, hardware encryption. They do have some. I'm not going to poo-poo it, but it is, software based for the most part. And remote management, there is no, that's not what they're built for. They don't think like that for the most part. This one is the one I wanted to talk to you about mostly, and this is like a. We don't think about this, but this is one of those things that happens quite often. The endpoint management, right? So you sell to a customer who has to deploy it. Then it has to be managed. It has to be updated. It has to be supported. And in each of these scenarios, there's a cost or a benefit to the Windows vPro experience, or a cost on the Apple. So to manage Macs in an enterprise, there is a third-party license that takes place. Of which there is no cost in the Windows environment. It's built into Windows Enterprise. The managing, there's the benefits. As you see here, admins have access to easy to implement comprehensive Windows policies. Apple hasn't thought out. They haven't been in the enterprise environment, and had to worry about managing fleets. Right? That's not really what they're about. Updating again, not even updating the own BIOS or drivers for the PC, but what about the enterprise applications? A new version of Salesforce comes out, a new version of your CRM, another CRM tool, or a custom application in your environment. Often it's built on the Windows itself, and so it's not even considered for a Mac environment. You'll get a lot of error, this app won't load, kind of thing. And then finally, the support. Windows is the proliferation of Windows in small, medium business and in enterprise is legendary, and for good reason. So I try to avoid bashing because I don't think that's the right thing. They have a good product and a lot of people like it. And so hats off. But there's more to that story than just, turn it on and connect to your VPN into your work environment. And we want to make sure that people recognize and appreciate the complexity of doing that. All right, I just talked nonstop for 30 minutes. That's any questions or anything really burning that I can help with?
I think there is one in the chat.
Okay.
It says, what's the battery overhead on a Unison?
Yes, yeah, great. On Unison, that's a great question. It's a background, so it sits on the system tray, and it is a resident item. So it will have, if you were to do Task Manager and pull up that dialog box, you would see some battery usage. I don't have the stats on it. Fair question though. That's a really good question. So it's not much. It's a Bluetooth enable. Well, there's 3 ways. I didn't go into the detail, but there are 3 ways it can connect: Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or cellular. If your PC has a cellular chip. but essentially it's like having your Bluetooth on and it's looking for a Bluetooth device.
Perfect. I think that was the only one, unless anyone else has any other questions. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, Josh.
Well, thanks for having me, and look forward to coming back. And if anyone has a question afterwards, please get in touch. I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Have a
All
great
right.
day,
Thank you
everyone.
all. Take care.
Thank you.